Hi, I'm parasocial. I use they them pronouns. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am going over the worst things about being a working student. The first one is, I think, the most obvious one. It's planning. I have a job that requires me to be at the office at set times, but also have working from home hours that are really flexible, and it's mostly just make sure you get the task done by the end of the week and then everything is fine. But that makes it hard for me to actually plan when to work and when to study because I can put off work or I can put off studying and see if it actually goes faster, my work, than I expected, or if my studying goes faster than expected. And I mostly want to study because I'm studying for something I really want to do later, something that was always a childhood dream. So it is very hard for me to actually prioritize the work I have to do and not keep studying all the time and neglect my work tasks when I'm at home. But if I neglect those work tasks at home, it'll be hard to do the work that I have to do at my office. So it's very hard to actually plan in when to work, and it's also very hard to plan in buffer time for when I don't have enough time to actually do what I planned, or if something comes up that is very much more important than what I had to do for my job or for my studies, then that takes priority, but I don't have the time for that to actually happen because I don't have a lot of time between the exams and I have to study for them. So, not a lot of buffer time. I mean, if any at all during the weeks. The second thing that is kind of hard is not going to the lessons because it's distance learning. I don't have any in person lessons that I have to go through, which is very hard because I used to learn the most when somebody explained it to me, and now I have to do all of the explaining myself. So it is a plus point that COVID happens because teachers recorded their lessons that they taught online and they are still putting them on the platform that we can follow our lessons on or the PowerPoints on. And that is a good thing because that's someone who is very clearly an expert in that course, explaining what is important and what isn't. But that's not the case for all of the lessons, all of the things I have to learn. So when I don't have it, it's very hard to figure out what is the most important thing to study and what the professor thinks is just a piece of side information that is very easy to have but isn't necessary for later or for the exams. The third thing that is hard for me to do is cooking and cleaning and taking care of myself because that takes up a lot of time. For the cooking, it is good that there's meal services or I can just order the groceries online and it takes like 10 minutes to go pick them up. So that's not really the problem. The problem is that I don't have the space to store any meal prep things. So I can't say that I'm just going to meal prep for an hour each week and hope that I have enough food for the rest of the week. I have to make my food from scratch every single day, which is good because it's healthy, but it also takes up a lot of time that I could spend studying or working. The fourth and last thing that is difficult as a working student is finding time to take breaks. Since there's very little time between my exams, I have to follow my planning to a T, but I also need to rest in between, or otherwise I'm going to get burnt out and I don't want that. So I do plan times to rest, but I take those times to finish off the things I had to do for school or for my work when I didn't finish that day. Or very rarely, though, I get ahead of my plan and I just don't take the time to rest and do my hobbies. So I haven't knitted a lot or crocheted. It has been a couple of months since I last made a journal or some papers for a journal, and I do miss it. But I don't really have the time for it, I think. Well, I could work out some time, but then I wouldn't have enough time to study for my exams. So, yeah, just mostly why are there only 24 hours in a day? And why do I have to spend 9 hours of them either sleeping, taking care of myself, or eating? And that's not including the time it takes to create a meal. But would I still do this if I knew all of this before starting? Yes. I am studying something I have always wanted to do. So I get to study while also not going into depth, and that's the best part of it. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you're also a working student, please let me know how you deal with all of the above and what are your worst parts of being a working student. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all of the YouTube things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!